Everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Sports. This is Power Play, and we're joined as always by Chris Uminski. Chris, how you doing?
Doing good, Brian. How are you?
Doing quite well. Nice and warm, unlike the people who attended the game we're going to be talking about here. As I saw some real frozen beers on on Twitter. I think from your Twitter account, you reposted that.
Probably,
If I'm
yeah.
not
A lot of
mistaken.
frozen facial hair too.
Yeah. So all the pictures of the Winter Classic looked amazing. How was the game actually?
This Winter Classic is the best one they've had in a long time, I think.
All right, hey.
It had a lot of great moments. Um, like, and hockey players are a different breed. The St. Louis Blues showed up, and it's like negative 14 out. They rolled up to Target Field in Hawaiian shirts, shorts, and flip flops.
No thanks. Couldn't be me.
You know, that's a flex right there. And it was the Minnesota Wild versus St. Louis Blues. The Blues ended up winning. I think it was 6-4. And it was a great atmosphere watching the game. They had another great group of analysts. And like some things taken away from the game. The Minnesota Wild power play sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, they, especially that whole first period, they would on the no, not their power play, their penalty kill. Their penalty kill sucks. They
Right.
try to kill off a penalty, and in the middle of the penalty kill, they get another penalty. Or a guy comes out of the box 2 seconds later, the penalty.
So not ideal, and probably contributed to why they let up 6 goals.
Yeah, that's definitely a reason. Their goaltending was just, oof.
Yeah. That is unfortunate. But I guess what's the general consensus? You said it was maybe their best one ever.
I think-
What?
I didn't-
Like, what's the word?
Possibly, definitely the best one they've had in a while. And I don't know if it was the best one of all time. I saw one in person a few years ago, so might have a
Was it
little
in
bias.
Fenway, or was that the Bruins game in Fenway, or did you go to a different one?
That was the Bruins at Gillette, versus the
Gillette.
Canadians.
Gotcha. So that must have been fun.
Oh yeah, it was fun, and the St. Louis Blues too. They could have put just one guy on the ice, and they probably still would have won. That's Jordan Kyrou, and he just dominated the whole game. Him and Vladimir Tarasenko had a lot of point combos. And it was just it was a great game.
Good one. And I mean, it's always fun, right? I feel like everyone
yeah.
looks forward to the Winter Classic.
But yeah, definitely, it's one of my favorite sporting events of the year, and I think my favorite part is the throwback jerseys. I'm wearing mine right now.
Very nice. Very nice.
And like the throwback jerseys this year look wicked cool. I think Minnesota's was my favorite. So if you haven't seen those, definitely check those out.
Yeah. So from the broader NHL to more specifically, how have the Bruins been doing since we last talked? Last we talked, I believe, it was everything is being canceled. So we've had some games since then.
Yes, we've had games, have hockey to talk about. Yeah, the Bruins have been doing really good. They played the Sabres on a few days ago, and the first couple periods of that game were looking a little rough for the Bruins. Like the Sabres are the Sabres. They're a better team than they were last year, but they're still not great. So that was disappointing. But the third period, they pulled it out, ended up winning an OT.
Nice.
Then, man, the Red Wings game on Sunday.
Don't hold back.
Oh man. They blew out Detroit I think it was like 5-1 or something like that. It was one of those stupid, like high scoring games.
Right.
Defense looked great. Jeremy Swayman looked great.
Very nice.
And Bruce Cassidy made a very controversial decision for that game. You know that the Bruins have that dominant first line. Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak. But the biggest problem the Bruins have been having as of late, it hasn't been the defense. It's been a lack of offensive scoring depth. And that's been a problem really since David Krejci left. And it's like your first line is great, but they're doing all the work. So Cassidy moved Pasternak down to the third line.
Right.
And I would say that was a good decision. I don't know if I love the line being broke up, but if it works, it works. If it helps, keep up scoring, no matter what line is on the ice. Because the second line is still good. Taylor Hall's a good goal scorer. The other night too, he was looking like vintage Taylor Hall, like that year that he got MVP. And so, I'm glad to see that he's doing good too.
No, definitely. So, anything else on those two games before we move on to our next Bruins topic?
Not much in those two games. I guess not much in those two. There's a couple rumors that have been floating around the last couple of days. I forgot to tell you about this earlier. This is kind of an interesting thing. It sort of leads up into our next topic.
All right, hit me. I'm ready.
So, there's been a rumor going around that we might be looking to make a deal with the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay. Who are we making a deal for?
I haven't heard any names on that end yet, but I do know that they're pitching Jake DeBrusk and Linus Ullmark.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are the Oilers are a good team. Really, no matter who we get from them, it's going to be a plus. One of those, great, well-put-together teams.
Right.
And I think it solves a trade like that would solve a lot of the Bruins' problems. Linus Ullmark is a goalie of the tandem we have right now. He's the weaker one. I think he's still good enough to be able to maybe try to get something good for him. And it'll be good for the Bruins to get rid of his contract too, because he has a stupidly bad contract. And maybe part of that deal might be Jake DeBrusk.
Okay. And you're cool with that, or?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he asked for a trade.
Yeah.
He asked for a trade.
It's tough when he comes out and that comes out and then people are booing him. It's like, all right, well, this is probably not gonna resolve. It's like at that point when you're getting booed by your home crowd, you gotta find a trade for them.
Yeah. So I think that'll be some addition by subtraction. If he ends up part of a deal with the Oilers.
Right. And so, all right, if that goes through, then that leads us with only one goalie technically, unless Tuukka comes back, right?
Oh, that's the other big rumor that's going around. We are expecting Tuukka Rask to sign a contract any day now.
All right. So, what does that mean if he comes back? Is he automatically the starter, or?
Well, I guess Bruce Cassidy has been dropping little hints. He said just earlier today, we can expect Tuukka Rask to be starting within 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. So, not so much a hint as just this is going to happen.
Yeah, but I guess when they do sign him, they're going to send him down to Providence first, because it's been
a while.
It's been a minute since he's started an NHL game.
Yeah.
So they're going to send him down to Providence for a little bit.
7 months.
Yeah,
8 months, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh man.
That'll be good, and then he'll come back. I'm optimistic. He's been like we've talked about before. He's been practicing with the Bruins for a while now. And he's looking good in those practices. I like knowing that he is on the ice. This is like a surgery like the one he had. Like that's some serious stuff, and that can affect how a player plays for the rest of his career.
Sure, yeah. So hopefully if they are going to be making a trade, and like putting him in Providence to play, like they've seen enough in practice and stuff to where they're fairly comfortable that he's going to be, pretty much ready to play.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's exciting. I mean, I know there's like lots of like Tuukka has had his great moments, has had his not so great moments in Boston, but I like Tuukka, so I'm hopeful that he's gonna play well.
I was gonna say like my feelings about him switch back and forth all the time. Like if you had asked me a week ago, I would have said, "Oh, I can take him or leave him."
Right.
But like today, I'm like, you know what? I think it might not be such a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna end the show with some good news, some just straight up good news. No, like, like it's good for something but bad for anything else. This is just, this is just happy news, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, man. There's such a wholesome moment. Happened during the Kraken Canucks game, Seattle. So, I guess as the story goes, there's a Kraken fan who's sitting right behind the opposing bench, and like when you sit there, like you're pretty close to the players and the coaches, and you can like hear what they're saying, you can see them really well. Well, I guess this fan is a doctor, a nurse or something, a medical professional.
Right.
And she noticed a mole on the back of one of the coaches' neck. Let me see if I can get his name real quick.
So yeah, of course, as they all say, if there's a mole bigger than a pencil eraser, you should probably get it checked out. So if this story does nothing else for you, if there's a mole that you've been holding off on, go get it checked out because it could be something.
It was Brian Hamilton, the equipment manager. But I guess what she does is she sees this mole, and she types out a message on her phone and starts banging on the glass, trying to get his attention. Eventually, he turns around, she puts her phone up, and it says something like, you need to get that mole in your neck checked out. And I guess she took it seriously. It turned out to be cancerous.
Jesus. So she maybe saved his life. Maybe. I mean, that's not crazy to say, right?
Yeah, well, he spent after he found that out, and he got the mole taken off. He put out like a social media campaign, like I need to find this fan, and thank her profusely for saving my life.
Right.
So like it's been fun following that. He eventually found her, invited her to a game, and the Kraken and the Canucks both contributed to. She's a medical student. That's what she was. And they are giving her a $10,000 scholarship for medical school.
That's cool. It's a nice thing, to wrap a bow on this story.
It's a nice wholesome sports moment in a few days without very many wholesome sports moments.
I don't know what you're talking about. Certainly not the NFL and players leaving in the middle of games.
Oh,
that's quite wholesome.
If I ever quit my job, that's how I'm doing it.
That's how you get it. Just throwing your shirt into the crowd.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I did see one, not to detract, I did see one tweet. It's just like, I don't think this is a good thing, but I do respect the hell out of someone quitting their job like that and running off.
Yeah. You can't even be mad. Antonio Brown is Antonio Brown. But every now and then.
Oh man. But yeah, so this is obviously a great story and one we definitely wanted to make sure we mentioned to close out this episode of Power Play. Chris, is there anything else you want to touch on before we get on out of here?
Nope. I guess I'm looking forward to a busy Bruins schedule next week. They're
Yes.
playing like every other day, which is
Gotta make up for lost time here. Oh
um,
man.
looking forward to the Olympics.
Yes.
Looking forward to the Bean Pot too. That's coming up. I'll be covering that pretty good.
Cool. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, it's the Boston colleges. They have their own little championship, and it's very fun to follow every year.
And it's an annual tournament. Go BC.
And BC is
I'm a BC
one of
fan,
them, of
and,
course. And yeah, I mean, it's always fun to see who wins that, and I think it
a lot
really
of prospects,
does.
too.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like the hockey scene in Boston for college is pretty serious, right? Like they're
Oh yeah,
you know,
just all around New England. We have most of the best schools
yeah. So
around here.
I
Mass
mean,
won the championship last year.
so it's like in most like normal times, it's a pretty big event. I don't know what it is like attendance right now with COVID happening, but yeah, if you're in Boston, you want to see some stars of the future play.
Yes.
That's the thing to check out. All right, Chris, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
It was a long one too. So really, we are making up for lost time on this too with not doing one last week for the holidays. But yeah, Chris, where can they find you online?
So best spot on hockey Twitter is Chris_Uminski. Always tweeting hockey news,
Lots
Bruins
of
news,
memes.
and yes, and the memes.
Gotta have the memes.
When
Definitely
you
go
called me, I
follow
was actually in the middle of typing out something pretty dank.
All right. Well, wait, let me know. I'll make sure to retweet it with the Wicked Good Sports account. Not that there's like any followers on that account, but you know, for those of you who follow that, you'll see it then. And then follow Chris, of course. You can follow me on Twitter at the Fake Bmar. It's BMARR. Channels on Twitter at Wicked Good Sports. As I said, it's actually Wicked Good Sport. We don't have Wicked Good Sports. Someone else has that, and they don't tweet very much. It's fine. I'm not bitter at all. And then you can also follow the main channel, WG Everything. We're on Twitch at twitch.tv/Wicked Everything. TikTok. That one is actually Wicked Good Sports. And then Wicked Good Everything for more comedy, video game stuff. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's it, Chris. I don't know. It's so much. Watch our other videos. I'm sure I mentioned anything I've missed today in those. We'll see you all in the next one.